Welcome to the Compact History podcast from compacthistory.com, where we unpack the past in smart, snack-sized episodes. This is episode 97, The History of Satellites. From the blinking lights of early artificial orbiters to the sophisticated networks powering global communications and GPS, satellites have come to define our modern age. Their journey from theoretical curiosity to indispensable tool is one of the most remarkable tales in the history of science and technology. The history of satellites is not just about machines in orbit. It is a story of political ambition, scientific ingenuity, and a deep human desire to connect, observe, and understand. The concept of artificial satellites predates the technology to build them. Visionaries like Edward Everett Hale imagined orbiting structures in his 1869 short story, The Brick Moon, while Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, the father of astronautics, proposed the idea of space stations and satellites in the late 19th century. His theoretical work laid the foundation for rocketry and orbital mechanics, envisioning satellites as part of humanity's destiny to explore space. The history of actual satellites began during the height of the Cold War. On the 4th of October, 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the world's first artificial satellite. This 58-centimeter metal sphere, emitting simple radio pulses, shocked the world and heralded the start of the space race. Just a month later, Sputnik 2 carried the first living being, a dog named Laika, into space. The United States responded with the launch of Explorer 1 on the 31st of January 1958. This satellite not only marked America's entry into space, but also contributed significantly to scientific knowledge, discovering the Van Allen radiation belts thanks to instruments developed by Dr. James Van Allen. Unsurprisingly, early satellite development was driven by military needs. During the Cold War, both superpowers developed satellites for reconnaissance, communication, and early warning. The U.S. Corona program, initiated in the 1960s, was among the first successful spy satellite initiatives, capturing thousands of images of Soviet installations. These satellites helped de-escalate tensions by providing verifiable intelligence. Communication satellites followed quickly. The 1962 launch of Telstar, a joint project by NASA and private telecommunications companies, made the first live transatlantic television broadcasts possible. Satellites soon became integral to military command and control systems, guiding nuclear strategies and global troop deployments. As launch technologies matured and satellite capabilities improved, their uses expanded rapidly into civilian and commercial sectors. Weather satellites like Tyros-1, launched in 1960, revolutionized meteorology, providing real-time images of Earth's weather systems. These early satellites laid the groundwork for modern storm tracking and climate research. In the 1970s, Earth observation satellites such as Landsat began mapping the planet in unprecedented detail. These satellites offered insights into agriculture, forestry, water resources, and urban development, enabling better planning and environmental monitoring. Commercial satellite communications became a booming industry by the late 20th century. Companies like Intelsat and Inmarsat provided international telephone, television, and maritime communication services. By the 1990s, satellites were powering an increasingly interconnected world, enabling everything from mobile phone service to international news broadcasts. One of the most transformative satellite systems ever developed is the Global Positioning System, GPS. Initially launched by the U.S. Department of Defense in the 1970s and made fully operational by the 1990s, GPS uses a constellation of satellites to provide precise geolocation anywhere on Earth. While intended for military applications, GPS became a critical civilian tool. From smartphone navigation to precision agriculture, logistics, and autonomous vehicles, GPS has become embedded in daily life. Other nations followed suit, developing their own navigation systems, such as Russia's GLONASS, the European Union's Galileo, and China's Beidou. Satellites also revolutionized our understanding of the universe. The Hubble Space Telescope, launched in 1990, gave humanity an unparalleled view of deep space, capturing images of distant galaxies, nebulae, and black holes. Other scientific satellites, like the Cosmic Background Explorer, COBE, and the James Webb Space Telescope, have helped decode the origins of the universe. Solar observation satellites, including SOHO and the Parker Solar Probe, have provided critical insights into solar activity and its effects on Earth. Observing from above the atmosphere eliminates distortions caused by air and weather, giving space-based instruments a distinct advantage. A significant turning point in the history of satellites came with the development of miniaturized satellite technology. CubeSats and SmallSats, first introduced in the early 2000s, have made space more accessible than ever before. Universities, startups, and smaller nations can now launch satellites for a fraction of the cost of traditional missions. These small satellites are used for everything from Earth observation to telecommunications and scientific experimentation. Their modularity and cost-effectiveness have led to a surge in satellite launches, ushering in a new era of space entrepreneurship. One of the most significant recent developments is the rise of satellite megaconstellations. Companies like SpaceX, with Starlink, Amazon, with Project Kuiper, and OneWeb are deploying thousands of satellites into low Earth orbit, LEO, to provide global high-speed internet access. These constellations promise to bridge the digital divide, especially in remote and underserved regions. However, they also raise concerns about space debris, radio frequency interference, and the visual pollution of night skies. The challenge now is to balance global connectivity with responsible space management. As satellite numbers increase, so do challenges related to orbital congestion and space debris. The risk of collisions grows, leading to cascading scenarios like the feared Kessler syndrome, where debris from one collision triggers others in a chain reaction. International collaboration is key to managing these risks. Organizations like the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, UNOOSA, and initiatives such as the Artemis Accords aim to promote sustainable space practices and peaceful exploration. Another pressing issue is the regulation of satellite data. Earth observation satellites can collect detailed imagery of virtually any location, raising questions about privacy, surveillance, and data ownership. In the 21st century, satellites have become indispensable tools in tracking climate change. Instruments onboard satellites monitor sea level rise, ice sheet dynamics, ocean temperatures, greenhouse gas concentrations, and deforestation. Missions like NASA's GRACE and ESA's Sentinel satellites contribute critical data to global environmental policy and disaster response. As the planet faces increasing climate challenges, satellites will continue to play a vital role in providing the data needed to understand and mitigate these threats. From Cold War rivalry to global collaboration, satellites have evolved into essential components of modern civilization. They enable our smartphones, monitor our planet, guide our vehicles, and expand our understanding of the cosmos. The future of satellites promises even greater integration with daily life. Advances in AI, quantum communications, and on-orbit servicing may soon redefine what satellites can do. But as we look up and build more eyes in the sky, we must also ensure that space remains a sustainable and peaceful frontier. The story of satellites is a story of humanity itself. Ambitious, ingenious, interconnected, and always reaching higher. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Compact History, part of the Compact Histories network. You can find more episodes and explore our other Compact shows at compacthistories.com. If you enjoyed the episode, please like, follow, or subscribe. And if you'd like to support the show more directly, why not consider buying us a coffee at compacthistories.com/historycoffee. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.